Hi guys, good morning. You guys are welcome. This is my live section. So I'm going to be teaching you guys on how to make this beautiful design, a skirt and a a straight blouse or a straight top with zipper at the front. So I'm still waiting for you guys for you all to come online so we can get started. So you're welcome. If you're just coming across me for the first time, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So guys, I'm calling on you to join me on this live section because we can share and learn a lot from this. So if you're live here, if you're on, please click just join me so that we can get started. So guys, you're welcome. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. You're welcome. So this is the second time I'm going on live section. So on today's video, please, before then, we are waiting for others to join so we can get started. So you're welcome. You're all welcome to this live section. So if this is your first time, please give us a thumbs up. You're welcome. I really appreciate you for coming to this live section. Thank you. It's really meaning a lot to me. So we are still waiting for others. But before then, please, I would like to know your name or in the comment section. I would like to know on how. So today's topic will be going on how to make a skirt and a blouse with a front zipper. So if this is your first time, you're welcome to my live section. So let's get started. So this is the Ankara fabric that we are going to be using for the design. So we have 6 yards of Ankara fabric for this. So start by cutting out the skirt. So you're welcome. You're welcome. I really appreciate you for coming to support me. It's really meaning a lot to me. So let's get started. We are going to start by making the skirt first before cutting out the blouse. So we are going to be unfolding this fabric. So here we're going to check the back and the front pattern. So this is the skirt. So we are folding the skirt into two like this. We are folding the pattern into two. So if you can see me, please indicate that you can see me so that we can go ahead to the cutting. So you're all welcome to this live section. So first and foremost, we start to measure the skirt measurements of this person. So for this my client, she wants hers to be above the knee a little bit. So the measurement we are going to be using is above knee, your waist to your above knee length. So here I have 18 inches. So we are going to be making use of 18 inches. So because it will be having band, we are going to be minusing 2 yards, 2 inches for the band, then the rest. So because of the allowance and the folding, we are making this 20 inches at this point. So from there, to start by measuring our waist to hip measure, which is for this person we have 9 inches. That is for our hip measurement. So let's check what we're having for the length. Our hip measurement is 51. So 51 divided by 2, divided by 4 is what we are going to be using. So 51 divided by 4 is sorry, let me get a pen so that we could do the calculation. So this is what we are going to be having. The measurement that we're going to be needing is the waist, the hip, then we have the waist of 42 inches divided by 4. We have 10.5. We have 10.5. Then for the hip measurement, we have 51 divided by 4. We have divided by 4. We have 12 and 3/4. Please, I'm coming. Please hold on. They give you then the press for you. I'm sorry, I had to appeal to something. I'm so sorry. So this is what we have here. We're having hip length of so to get the knee length, to get the measurement for the hemline, we're going to be using hip measurement. That's 51 minus 5. That's if we don't want it to be too tight. This is what we are having. So 51 minus 5 is giving us 46, right? So for that 46 divided by 4 is what we are going to be having. So 46 divided by 4, that is 11.5. That's 46 divided by 4. So these are the parameters we are going to be using for the skirt. So here, let's move on to the measurements. All these parameters we did here. So here for the waistline, we have 42 divided by 4. As we calculated here, we have 10.5. So this is the 10.5. So for the allowance, we have 2 inches. This is 2 inches. Then on the hip area, we have 12 and quarter, 12 and 3/4. This is what we have here. So we have 2 inches here for the sewing allowance. Then for the hemline, which is the down part, we already got what we needed, which is hip minus 5. That is to be on the safer side, so it will not be tight. We have 51 minus 5. That's your hip minus 5. That's 46. So that 46 divided by 4, what it gives us was 11.5. So we are imputing 11.5 at this point. 11.5. Then here we have 2 inches for the sewing allowance. I'm going to be using our curve ruler to connect the lines together like this. So this is what I hope you guys understand what I'm doing. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So move ahead to, let me get my scissors. So this is what we have at the end of the day. So move ahead to cutting out this pattern. You're welcome. If this is your first time on my live show, you're welcome. I hope you're learning. So you can see how it look. This is the front pattern. So just for you know to I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The network. I'm sorry. It's just the network. I'm sorry, guys, for the uh. It was the network. So I hope you all can see what I'm doing. So so let's move on to cutting out the back pattern for the skirt. I hope you all can see what I'm doing right here. You're welcome. If this is your first time on this live show, you're welcome. So you're going to be leaving 2 inches or 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. But me, I love using up to 2 inches for my zipper allowance, just to have a very safe and a sweet. So after joining it, I could decide to cut it out if I really do not need it. So here, this is what we are going to be doing. I'm going to be measuring. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. I don't know. So I'm going to be measuring this place to be 2 inches, the zipper allowance to be 2 inches above. For the zipper allowance, make sure that you're measuring 2 inches here. Measure 2 inches. Then for the down part, I love giving it a little shape, so I'm going to be having 1.5 inches at the end of the day. So to measure the 1.5 inches, it will be measuring it backward like this. So you measure 1.5 inches at the hem line like this. So, and on the zipper allowance, that's what you'll be having. So this is how it will be looking. I'm not going to be looking straight like this. So move ahead to cutting this out already. The same shape we're having, and that's what you're going to be using. But if you can't really understand what I'm saying, I have a tutorial video on how to make a straight skirt. Just if you don't understand this whole thing that I've done already, I have a pattern, a tutorial on how to make a straight skirt, a perfect straight skirt. So on this part, I said we are going to be deducting 1/2 inch on this point, just for it to lap so well. So you notch down this point, the zipper area, you notch it, and you notch the midpoint of the front pattern. So use your chalk to indicate the wrong side and the right, and the wrong side from the right side, so you will not make mistake when you're about sewing it. So this is what we have for the skirt. So let's move on to the blouse. Let's move on to the blouse. And for you, if your fabric is actually a pattern fabric, you actually need to focus more on the pattern so that you will not have any reason to make any mistake. You have to focus, but because this is just a full what's it called, it has pattern all over its body, so you don't need to be worried about it. So that is why we are not really paying attention to whether the pattern will be facing down or it's facing up, because the pattern is all over the fabric already. So that's what we are doing. So let's move on to cutting the blouse pattern. So to get the blouse pattern, the parameters we are going to be using for the blouse pattern is blouse pattern is you have your shoulder, which is our shoulder is 17 inches, 17 divided by 2, that is 9.5, I'm sorry, 8.5 is what we have for the shoulder. Then we have the blouse length. Blouse length is 25, so we are actually using 25 for the blouse length. Then for the round bust measurement of 46, that's 46 divided by 4, that's where we are having 46 divided by 4 is what is giving us 11.5. that is it, 11.5. Then for the waist region, we are using, the waist is 42 divided by 4, we have 10.5, that is 42 divided by 4. Then we have the hip measurement of 51 divided by 4, we have what, just as we've done, we have 12 and 3/4, that's 12.75, that's 51 divided by 4 already. So we're actually making use, we're going to be using a princess dart for this blouse. So let's get started to measuring. So the first thing we are measuring is we are cutting out is the back pattern, because it's not having any zipper around or anything at all. So here we're going to be measuring 20. The main measurement we need is 25. So we are going to measure in 27 just to be a safer side. Measure 27. If you can see me, please let me know. Just raise your hand up if you can see what I'm doing here. So 27. So we measure the shoulder on this point. We measure the shoulder length, that's 17 divided by 2, we have 8.5. So plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance, we have 9.5. Then on this point, we'll go down by 1 inch like this for the shoulder slope. Then on this point, from there we measure our shoulder, but our armhole is 22. The armhole is 22 because she's of a bigger size. She's a big person, so 22. So we are going to be using 20 at first. 20 on this pattern. So 20 divided by 2, we have 10 inches. So we are going to be use our curve ruler. Firstly, mark a straight line like this, and then on the shoulder we have the midpoint of this 10. We have 5. This for the back, we have 5. Measure 0.3. That is because is the back pattern. For the curving, 0.3, and then curve it out like this. Then to get the proper this, you're going to measuring your shoulder, the shoulder to the bust line, shoulder to the under bust, and shoulder to the waist, and shoulder to the normal waist length. So for our shoulder to bust line, we have 12.5. Shoulder to bust line 12.5. Shoulder to under bust, this is 17, and shoulder to half length is 20 inches. This is because she's busty. She's a busty person. She's busty. So from the bust line, which is shoulder to your bust line, we measure the round bust measurement. So the calculation we did here is shoulder to the bust line. The round bust measurement is 46 divided by 4. We have 11.5. So we measure 11.5. So because we are actually making use of a process that, so on this point on the shoulder, we'll go down by 5 inches on the shoulder like this. Then we'll measure nipple to nipple point of 9 inches. Nipple to nipple point is 9 inches, which we have 9 inches divided by 2 is 4.5. So we are not going to be using 4.5 directly. We are going to be making it 4 points, or you can make it 5 inches instead, because after joining it, we are going to be having the 4.5 like that. So you measure 5 inches on this point, 5 inches, 5 inches to the down. Then you connect a straight line to it like this. Connect a straight line. Then on this point, we are going to be, from this 5 inches you measured on the armhole, we are going to be connecting it like this. Just you trace it out on like this. This is actually for the back measurement, for the back pattern. So because the back pattern is not having a zip or anything, it's not having a zipper allowance, so the zipper allowance will be at the front. Sorry, the zipper allowance will be at the front side. Then on this point on the other bust, we minus 1 inch on the sides like this. 1 inch. And that is what we have. So after then, we'll now start imputing our normal bust measurement. So our normal round bust measurements that we did here, we have 11.5. So we measured 11.5, then had 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Then on the waistline, on the under bust line, the under bust is also the same with the bust line, so we are using the same measurement, which is 42. We have 10.5. 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. Then we're adding 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Then we'll do the same thing to the waistline, 10.5, then 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Then on the hip measurement, we are going to be using the hip measurement here is 51. 51 divided by 4 is 12.75, which is 12 and 3/4. So this is what we have. So we're adding 2 inches for the sewing allowance. So you connect, use your ruler to connect the line together like this. Then on this sharp edge, you make sure that you trace it well. Just always want to have a sharp edge. So this is what we have at the end of the day. This is how it's going to be looking like. Cut this pattern out. And mind you, for this point at which we'll be joining this thing, we minus 2 inches, go up by 2 inches, then connect it to the remaining armhole measurement. Then we cut out this armhole measurement like this. The reason why we went up by 2 inches is just because after joining it, if you decide to cut it out like the normal way, after joining it, we'll see that it's not aligned to what we have here. It's not, this part, which is the side back, will not be aligned to the center back. So to be on the safer side, you go up by 2 inches, just that, so that when you're done connecting, it will align. So whatever allowance that is left, you cut it out after sewing it. So you can see what I'm doing here. Cutting out this pattern. So this is what we have. So you make sure that you indicate before cutting it out, so that then this point, so this is what we have. This is what we have at the end of the day. This is the back pattern. I'm sorry guys. Sorry. I'm sorry guys, I have to attend to something outside. I have to attend to something at the back. So here now, we are moving to the front pattern, to cut out the front pattern. So we are going to be following this part. So the front pattern is actually a bustier. We are going to be making it a bustier because the person is busty. So we're going to be making the bustier so it could sit well and make the clothes balance well on her. So let's move on to the front pattern. I hope you can all hear what I'm saying. If you're not hearing, please let me know. Just let me know in the comments. Comment if you're not hearing. So this is I'm going to be folding this like this. So for this front pattern, we have to pay more attention to this front pattern because that is the real deal here. Because it's having a zipper and it's actually the bustier too. So we are going to be folding it so well so that it will have enough allowance and will not be later in short of material or so. So first and foremost, we are going to be reeling out this point. So we said the full length of the blouse is 25. The normal full length is 25. So we are making this 27 just for the allowance for the joining and the allowance at the down. So here now we have 27. We mark 27 out here. Then from that point we'll start by measuring 2 inches round like this for the zipper allowance. We measure 2 inches round. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. You measure 2 inches round for the zipper. So you connect a straight line, connect the lines. So this point is for the zipper allowance. So we'll move right ahead to cutting out, measuring the normal body measurement on this part. So here now we're going to be measuring the shoulder length. So for the shoulder, we have the shoulder that we have here is 17 inches divided by 2. We have 8.5. So 8.5, this is it. It's marked at 8.5. We had 1 inch for the sewing and for the joining, so that when joining or when sewing this, you will not have any reason to start crying that the shoulder is not lying anymore after joining the whole part together. So we make it 9.5. The normal shoulder length is 17 inches, so we added 1 inch for the allowance, so we have 9.5 instead of 8.5. So on this part we will go down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope and then connect this shoulder, like connect a straight line to the shoulder like this. Then from there we measure our armhole. The armhole of this person is 22 inches, but at this point we are going to be making use of 20 inches. So after joining the whole part, then we can now retrace and cut it out to be 22 inches later. So we have 20 inches divided by 2, we have 10 inches. So connect a straight line to it like this. Then on this point, 10 inches, we will measure the half of this 10 inches, which is the midpoint. We have 5 inches. The half of this 10 is 5 inches. Then from the 5 inches, we go down by half an inch, and then went in by half an inch. So from there, connect connect it like this. From this point to cut the bust here, so we'll actually make use of we'll go down by 4 inches firstly to get the bust here. We'll go down by 4 inches at this point. So after 4 inches, the next one is determined by whether the person, this one after the 4 inches to go down, this one is determined by whether the person is busty or not. So for people that are busty, we likely use 3 inches, 2.5 inches or 2 inches for those that are no busty, but the least is 2 inches for those that are not busty. But for someone that is busty, you could decide to use 3 inches, 2.5 inches for this part. So after measuring the 4 inches like this, we'll go down by 2.5 inches. I want to make use of 2.5 inches for this person. 2.5 inches like this. So after measuring to that 2.5 inches, so now from here now we measure from the shoulder to the bust line. That's bust point. So shoulder to the bust line of this person is 12.5, and shoulder to the under bust is 17. Then shoulder to the half length is 20 inches at this point. So you mark a straight line all through it like this. All through it like this. So from there, this is our bust line. I don't know if you can see it, under bust line and half length. Then this one is the hip region. So we measure 4 points. The nipple to nipple point, which is the bust to bust measurement, is 9 inches. So we are going to be measuring 9 inches divided by 2, we have 4.5. So for the 4.5 here, we are going to be adding half inch or 1 inch for the sewing allowance. We are going to make it half inch. We're going to be adding half inch for the sewing allowance. Please, I'm coming. Let me get the door. I'm sorry, I had to attend to the door. I'm sorry. So, and on this under bust, we'll go down by half inch. So the nipple to nipple point is actually 9 inches. 19 inches divided by 2, we have 4.5. So on this under bust, we are going to be measuring that 4.5 here. But on the bust point, you make sure, because that's what makes the bust line, so it will be sitting well on the bust line or on the knee bust point already. So that's why we added half inch for the sewing on this point, so that we'll not have any reason for maybe the bust shifted or the bust line shifted to this side is not sitting well. So on the under bust, we just measure that 4.5. Then on the half length, we also measure 4.5. Then on the other full length, we measure 4.5 too. So here on the under bust, we are going to be going in by 2.5. So this under bust now is determined by, this is where how we want the shape, how we want the bust to come out. Maybe it's actually making the way that will make it, the bust sit well on the dress itself. So this point determines how the bust will be sitting. So here that it depends on how busty the person is. So here I'm going to be using 3 inches for this person because she's actually very busty. So I'm going to be using 3 inches, 3 inches. So connect a straight line to this point like this. So this is what we're having. So on this point now we're going to be curving this point like this. If you have a curve ruler, you could decide to curve it just as I'm doing here. Then on this point you trace it down to meet with what we have here. That's the first step to do. We'll trace it to meet up to what we have here. Then for this point we'll also trace it to what we have here. We'll trace it out like this. So, and I said earlier that at the back part, that when you, after measuring the whole, after imputing the whole measurement on this point, you're going to be going up from the armhole by 2 inches. This makes your pattern not to get short, or when you, after joining the pattern, then you will now realize that the center front and the side front is not aligned together at the joining. So we added 2 inches so that after joining it, you could decide to cut it out after joining. That will go under the armhole. So that is why we went up on this point by 2 inches and then connect the rest to the armhole like this. So this is what we have. This is how it. And remember that I said when cutting this point, this place is determined by how busty your client or how busty you are as a person, whether you like to make it to allow it to sit well on your client or on yourself. This is determined by how busty the person is. That's why we measure 3 inches at this point, just to connect to what we have here. Do you get? So from here we'll now start by imputing all our parameters like this. So for the bust line, what we have here after calculating, our bust is 46 divided by 4, we have 11.5. So here we'll be measuring 11.5 like this. So we are going to be adding 3 inches, 3 inches like this. That's because we actually deducted about 2 inches to have 2 inches on this point, so it will make the clothes short. So after 2 inches we will be having 1 inch left for the sewing allowance. Then on the under bust we have the same measurement with the waistline, which is 42 divided by 4, we have 10.5. So we reach 10.5. So remember that we deducted 3 inches on this point. So 3 inches here first, then we added extra 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches here. Then on the half length, which is the waistline, we did the same thing. We have 10.5 inches. Then 3 inches for this dart here. Then 2 inches here. Then on the hip measurements, we are going to be using 5 here. We repeat 12.75. Then 3 inches for 2 inches. We're having here we have. So we are going to be connecting the lines together like this. So this is what we have. You can see how it looks. So this point is actually going to be cut out. I'm not going to be needing this point. sorry. So that is how it is. So you can see what we have here. This is what we have after cutting. So move ahead to cutting it out. So I don't know if you can remember what we said when cutting out this bustier. So this is what we have. You have to be careful not to go over. So this is what we have. So this is what we have here, like this. This is how it's going to be looking. And make sure that when cutting this point, you have to make it a C shape. That is how our bust is, like a C shape. If it's pointed, you see that at the bust point it will be looking so pointed. So it's not good. It's not nice if it's looking so pointed. So on this point, you're making it to look like C. That is how it's going to give you a good and a perfect shape. So the neckline will be cut out after joining the whole pieces together. So make sure that marking out, using your this to mark out this point. If I decide to notch out your zipper allowance like this, then you divide this into two. The zipper is so this is what we have in. This will be kept aside. So let's move on to the sleeve. So because this is a long sleeve, folding it into two like this. So for the sleeve, we say that the sleeve is not a very fitted sleeve. So to cut out the sleeve, we are having our sleeve length is 24. So we are measuring 25.5. That's because of the joining and the folding. So we have 25.5. So at the end of the day, it will give us 24 that we want after joining and then folding the mouth of this point. So from here now, we'll go down by 4 inches. Where this 4 inches, and this 4 inches, this is where we are going to be measuring the armhole. So for the armhole, we have 22. So 20 divided by 2, we have 10 or 11. We have 11 as 22. So have 1 inch for the joining and everything. So here now we're going to be shaping our So this is what we have. We said on this 4 inches, that is where we are going to be measuring our armhole. So we have armhole of 22 inches divided by 2, we have 11. Then we added 1 inch for the sewing. Then on this point, because it's not a fitted sleeve, I'm going to be using 20 inches on this point. Then you connect it like this. So this is what we have. So you can see, so we are going to be using this to cut out the second part of the sleeve. And just as I said earlier, you indicate, use your marker to, or your chalk to mark out the wrong part. So this is what we have. We have make sure it's aligned before cutting. So overhead to notch this point. Here's the new points. Holding this aside. Then now we are going to be cutting out the waist, the band, waistband, the band for the skirt. So here we are in need of 4 inches, like this. I'm folding it like this to be 4 inches. So here now our waist measurement is 42 plus 2 inches for the zipper allowance, so that will be 44 inches at the end. This will be, we're going to be measuring, folded in this point to be 4 inches. I'm going to be measuring 46, length of 46. That's 46. That's what we have here. That's for the band for the skirt. 42 is for the waist, and 4 inches, which is for the zipper allowance at the back. So we have 46. Now we're going to be cutting out this 46 inches. To measure this point, we want 4.5 inches. That's what we need, or 5 inches. So after joining, those will be our fold to be doubled. So we have 5 inches. So we're going to be cutting out these 5 inches. So At this point, we are going to be folding this band into two like this, using our iron tool. Then you can put your interface, which is your stay, your paper stay, or whatever that you want to use here. So you'll be folding half inch, ironing half inch on the two sides, then folding it up like this. This one. So at the end of the day, it will be giving us 2 inches that was deducted from the fabric, from the pattern initially. So these are all of the pattern. So this is the lining. You'll be cutting out this lining also. So that is this will be done off the camera, and I actually appreciate you all for joining this section. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate you all. May God bless you and also bless us all. So I would love to see you all in my next video. I'm so excited to have you all on this my live section. So I'm really impressed with the number I've gotten so far. So I would love to see you all on my next video. Thank you all for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and share my videos. See you on my next video. Bye. See you next time.